How are you investing your money in 2026?
I don't have any experience in that world, and I don't have any history in that world. I have things that I sort of like and know about, and I have like property and cars, and I make I don't even know if they're called investments, but I have cars that are worth a substantial amount of money, but I also race them and use them. So I like sort of being tangible with them. Like, I guess if I was to think about it, you go, well, if you bought this stock or that stock 10 years ago, you'd be up this much. And then I go, well, I didn't buy that stock and that stock, but I bought a warehouse and I bought a couple of old race cars, and those are up the same amount, except for I've been racing and wrenching on them in the warehouse. So I'm really not good at that. I just sort of know what I like. And I also know that I have enough experience to go, that warehouse or that house or that car will be worth quite a bit more in the future. And people kind of go, that's like an old race car. Like, how does that work? And I'll give you a quick example. Nick Mason, who's the drummer for Pink Floyd, still is. Original drummer for Pink Floyd is Nick Mason. Nick Mason has a pretty substantial car collection. Nick Mason bought a 63, could be 62, Ferrari GTO in 1976 for $60,000, which was a lot for a car in 1976. That car is $85 million today, and he still owns it. So there is a way to make money off of things like cars.
Was that luck
Pokemon
or, was
cars.
that luck or skill?
You know, when I look at his collection, I go, this guy's picking the right cars. You know, there's a version of this where people just buy a brand new Rolls Royce and put rims on it, and they paid $350 for it, and it's going to be worth $175 in 9 years, and you're going to lose on it. But there are cars, I could tell you what cars to buy that would have upside.
Oh, we got to know about this. I have my own cars that I think are going to be worth a lot. I think the SLS AMG, one of my favorites. I think the Z8s are underappreciated. And I think stock
the BMW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the stock Honda S2000s.
The Japanese stuff's going up a lot. The Z8s were like, 150 new, but they put a premium on them. The dealer premium, they were selling them for like $225 or something like that. They've always kind of trickled up, but not really. And maybe they're about $240 or $250 now. And they're a cool car, V8, BMW, but they're not, they're not that. They're just kind of, if you bought one for $250 today, it'd be worth $3 in 6 years, and that's like okay. But I bought a Lamborghini Miura for $300K and it's worth $250 now. I sold it to buy another race car, but I mean, there are cars you can buy that'll go.
What do you think of the Ford GT? The original one, the 2005.
Those cars are good. They're about $165 new, and they went up, they kind of trickled up, and then they shot up, and they got to like $550, maybe $600, maybe $700 if it was a Gulf Heritage, and then they just kind of stopped and kind of settled into like the $475 to $550 range, and they just kind of stayed there. They're kind of like the BMW. If you bought one for $500 and hung on to it, you're not going to lose, but it's not a hot stock.
So what would you buy? What do you think right now is a good car if someone says, money's no object, I just want to make money on a car?
Well, it's kind of like, do you have $4 million to spend on a car, or do you have $125K? Ferrari 550s from the late 90s, early 2000s, stick shift. Those are nicely kind of trickling up. Also sort of from the same era, Ferrari 355s are been a pretty steady climber. I'll give you a hot ticket. It has never popped, and it's a ton of car, but they just won't move past like 550. But I swear they're gonna, which is a Jag 220. which is their supercar from the later 90s. Those, I think, are going to start to move.
So do you own no stock?
I don't know if I own stock.
Who would know?
When I got into this business, I immediately got a money manager because I was like, I don't know anything about this world and I don't want to be responsible for it. And I'm going to end up being arrested by the IRS if I put myself like in charge of this. And I don't want to deal with any of it. And so I got a money manager, pays all the bills, pays all the taxes, does all the stuff. And all I do is just work.
When did you get the money manager?
Literally like day one in show business.
So he has to have invested stock.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where you're at financially?
No, I only know, well, yeah. I mean, I know what my warehouses are worth.
But you don't know what your net worth is.
I would say...
This episode is in partnership with Airbnb. Graham and I are always traveling for the podcast. We were just in Nashville filming a few episodes there, and let me tell you, the food was incredible. I had the absolute best appetizers I've ever had. There was this dough ball and these steak skin potatoes. It was incredible. But let me ask you this. Do you ever think about your place back home when you travel? When you're gone for days or even weeks at a time, you can list your space on Airbnb so it works for you instead of just sitting empty.
And if you've ever considered listing your space, but you weren't sure how you'd manage everything while you're away, well, that's exactly where Airbnb's co-host network comes in. With this, you could partner with a vetted local co-host who has hosting experience and can help take care of the important details for you.
A co-host can manage the reservations, communicate with guests, and handle the on-site logistics so everything runs smoothly while you're traveling.
If you have upcoming travel, you probably don't think twice about your home sitting empty, but you could bring in some extra cash while you're away.
I kid you not, a couple years ago, before I had all of the rooms in my house filled up with roommates, I actually listed a room on Airbnb, and the entire process was genuinely so easy. The extra cash was amazing, and I was genuinely just so surprised at the simplicity of the entire process. If you're trying to make some extra cash on the side, I couldn't recommend Airbnb more. If you're ready to host but need a little bit of help, find a co-host at airbnb.com/host.
But you don't know what your net worth is.
I would say my net worth is tied up in my properties and in my cars. I always, whenever I made money, I just got another warehouse or got another car, and I never put it in the stock market. He got retirement accounts and stuff like that. But no, if I want to figure out my net worth, we would have to go to my warehouse and go, what is this warehouse worth? And then go to another warehouse and go, what is that worth? And then go to a house and go, what is this worth? And then go walk every car and go,
but
what's
that's assuming they
worth?
Have smoke detectors.
Yeah, and I can get them appraised.
But are these income producing assets?
I have a warehouse that I'm currently renting out, so I do get income from that warehouse. The other stuff just kind of goes up. Like, I don't know what, you go in, what's income producing? You go, well, I bought a Lamborghini for $325 and I sold it for $1 million. I bought a Lamborghini 400 2+2 60s, 67 probably. I bought on eBay for like $117,000. I called the guy. I went, what's it going to take to get the auction shut? He's like, give me $117,000. I said, I'll do it. I bought that car. I sold that car like 6 years later for like $785 or something, something like that. Now that's a happy story. Sometimes
whenever you get these windfalls from selling these assets, you immediately parlay that into a new car, warehouse, or real estate or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, generally the money goes into something else like that.
So what's the best investment you've ever made?
I bought my first house for like $350, put a lot, fixer upper, but a lot of sweat equity. I had to do a lot of work on it, but I think it's sold for like 2.2 or something like that. That's probably good. I mean, percentage wise, something like the Lamborghini 400 went up like 100. I mean, I walked away. I didn't walk away with millions of dollars, but from a percentage wise and a time wise, that was probably pretty good. Some of the warehouse I bought a warehouse for like 1.9, and I put a lot of sweat equity in it, but just like this, paint and scrubbing stuff. And, I used to build, so it was that not a ton of dough. And I got sold for like $7 million or something like that. So it's done okay with just sticking with kind of the warehousey and the, properties and cars. The cars, it's hard to tell the value of a lot of them because there's no comps. We can figure out a comp on a Ford GT in 05.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even own one,
yeah.
and I shouldn't say I don't like it, but it's not my car. I mean, I don't.
That's his car.
I know. Yeah. I don't dabble with them. I've never bought one. I've never traded one. I've never done anything. But I just told you what those cars are worth.
Yes, and you're pretty accurate
because that's what those cars are worth. But you can't tell what an old Paul Newman race car is worth because they don't trade.
But when you buy those cars, is it ever with the intention of saying, I'm going to make money with this? Or is it, I like this car, I don't care what it's worth, this is cool?
I buy them because I like them, and I buy them to race them, and I buy them for, pretty pure, the motivation is good.
Yeah.
Like I like it. I want to be a custodian of this car. I want to get in this car. I want to drive this car. I want to race it. That's all good. But there have been cars, like I own, Paul Newman won 4 national championships. I own 3 of those cars. And there's a guy who always owned the 4th car who was kind of nuts and a little bit of a douche. And he used to come at me all the time and go, I'll sell you this car for $3 million. And I'd just go, that's not a $3 million car. It's not worth that much. And he'd go, do it now, or I'm sending it to Dubai or whatever. And I'd go, it's, I can't tell you exactly what it's worth, but it's not worth that much money. So I'm not going to buy it. And then I'd tell him, put it up, take it to Pebble Beach, put it up on auction. I'll bid on it. We'll find out what it's worth. And it's like, he never did it because he's an idiot. But the point is I'm not going to just sort of blindly go, I'll give you way too much money for a car.
But would you say most of your net worth then is in cars?
Yeah, I would say that's a safe statement.
Wow. That's incredible. Most of the people we bring on this podcast, they're all like buying stocks and I don't know.
Or running business, like very cash flow intensive.
It's very rare that like they've completely negated that area of life because we're more actually of a finance podcast where we discuss stuff like that. So that's really interesting to note that like you've actually done quite well for yourself, but you've invested in a completely alternative way to most people we have on the show.
Yeah, because I don't really look at it as investment. I just go, I worked, I swung a hammer, I was on a job site, I wanted to make money so I could get myself some race cars and go racing, and I got into show business, and I made some money, and I bought race cars, and I went racing.